You know what? I get tired of the money-grubbing corporate giants constantly trying to get into my pockets, take all my money, control my brain. That's kind of what's on my mind today. So, do you get tired of that too? I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm in a video game, and of course, someone else has the controller, not me. They're deciding what accessories I get to carry, what vehicle I'm going to drive, what, outfit I wear. Do you ever feel that way? But maybe I don't want to spend my money on what they think I should spend it on. Maybe I want to spend it on the things that matter to me. But we have to resist all the time because we're being marketed to every second, every minute of every day. So I came up with some ways to opt out, to stick it to the consumer culture that we're living in. Now, I'm not talking about, moving into a cabin and living off grid, although sometimes that sounds actually kind of nice. First, we have to watch our screens with a critical eye because, our phones, our TVs, all of our screens that we're glued to, they're constantly programming us. And they profit from our inability to turn them off. Now, in moderation, screen time that entertains and educates, that's fine. Well, let's talk about social media. I mean, social media wants us to get emotional. They want us to be angry or anxious or, fired up in some way, because if they can get us to that point, then we'll stay on there longer. We are being manipulated. Okay, so what can we do if we're not moving to a cabin or a cave, in the middle of the woods? What can we do? I don't know. Here's just a few things. You can mute the ads when they come on. Get up. We probably need to get up anyway. Get up and walk away. Go to another room. Another thing you could do is turn off all of your notifications on your phone except for phone calls and text messages. Turn all the rest of those notifications off, and those little red badges as well, those little annoying, things. We've got to set time limits on ourselves. We can go on walks and leave our phones at home. I've started doing that in the past year or so. I never thought I could do that, but it's actually so nice. And, when you're on social media and you feel your emotions are starting to bubble up or take a turn, it's time to walk away. Okay, the second thing that I thought of is we need to get out of debt, because debt equals control. And I know this is another thing that's easier said than done. All of these things, they're not easy things. But we can't go through life just doing all the easy stuff. We've got to challenge ourselves sometimes. We've got to improve ourselves. And being debt-free, it's extremely difficult. I mean, I would love to get to the point to where when I need a new car, I could pay cash for it. And it's always been something I've wanted to achieve, but I've not made it yet. I am not in the market for a new car right now, thankfully, but I am trying to save some money since I no longer am making car payments. I'm trying to put that money aside so that hopefully I can get closer to paying cash for one instead of financing it. And when it comes to mortgages, most people need one. I mean, that's the truth. But think about this. If you have a mortgage at 5% for 30 years, you're going to pay double for that house by the time it's all said and done. So I think one of our goals is to get out of debt as soon as we possibly can. I mean, what's worked for me in the past is just to devote the time, sit down and make a plan. Cut out all of the splurges and all the extras until you get it paid off. And another thing is to tell yourself every day that you're debt-free. Just say, I am debt-free. I am debt-free every day. I am debt-free. Regardless of whether you are or not. Tell yourself that you are. Okay, the third thing that I was thinking about is like how they try to get into our brain is that, our food. We've got to get back to basics when it comes to our food. And I'm not just talking about getting on the healthy bandwagon either, because I've noticed that the more health-oriented podcasts that I listen to, the more money that I spend on protein powders and, whatever supplement they tell me that I am going to die if I don't buy. So there are different ways that we can take things to extremes. I can go into a Walmart store and look at someone else's, shopping cart, and it's overflowing with brightly colored, boxes and packages, processed, super processed foods. So they've got us brainwashed that we need things for convenience because we don't have any time to, cook. They've also got us to where we're addicted to sugar and salt and, fat, that all the things they put in these foods. But it can go the other way too. They can get in your brain and get you fearful into thinking that you have to buy, these healthy foods or these healthy supplements. So I think we just need to be aware that they're coming at us in every department. I mean, what can we do? I mean, we could maybe imitate the way our grandparents ate: meat, 2 veggies, some bread. Of course, that involves, cooking and preparing the food. And I know that, our grandmothers, they had a lot more time to do that. I mean, that's the reality. But if we can take 2 or 3 hours on the weekend and meal prep some foods, get the slow cooker out, freeze some things. I mean, we can shop the perimeters of the stores. Don't go down all of those aisles where all those, super processed things are. Just getting back to basics. Most all the food that's on the perimeter of the store, none of it is addictive. So, I mean, that ought to tell us something right there. I don't ever really crave cheese the way I do Pop-Tarts. And I think we just really need to pray over our food and just be grateful for it. Real food. Okay, here's another way I thought we could just stick it to the consumer culture that we're faced with, and that's to buy a smaller car, and at least keep it for 10 years. But, we could keep them much longer than that, as long as we take care of them and maintain them. In 2025, the average new car price is $49,000. The average loan term is 6 years, and the average monthly payment is over $700. A lot of us, we're never getting out of car payments because we'll trade it before we get the other one paid off. Or we're leasing cars, which really is just another word for renting our cars. Now, whatever car you have today, whether it's a pickup truck or an SUV or a small car, don't feel the urge to trade and upgrade so soon. There are a lot of things that you can buy, adapters and that kind of thing, to upgrade your car yourself. I mean, I like doing the wireless CarPlay. That feature was not included when I bought my car, but I bought this little adapter. I think it was around $50 or $60 off of Amazon. And, I can connect it into the USB port in my car, and through the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi on my phone, it automatically connects wirelessly. So I have the feature for a one-time purchase. We need to just be satisfied, keep our cars for a lot longer. And when it's time for you to trade and buy a new car, don't think it has to be one of the luxury brands out there. The luxury brands are supposed to be for the rich. If you're not rich, then don't buy a European or a luxury car. But just because you can get a lease payment that seems, reasonable for, a Mercedes or a BMW, If you're not living in the upper crust, you don't need a BMW. Another thing is that we don't need the model that has all the features. The model in the middle is probably really, really good. I mean, even the base model is 100 times better than the cars, we were learning to drive on. Cars are really, really nice these days. I mean, sometimes I turn on the seat heaters in my car and I don't even want to get out of it when I get home. Spending money on maintaining your car is a lot better than monthly payments. Another way that I feel we can just say stop to the current consumer culture that we've got around us is just to choose to spend money on your health, not the healthcare system. I mean, one of the smartest things we can do is try to avoid the healthcare system as much as possible. Now, I know in a lot of my other videos, I have preached the benefits, especially for Gen Xers, to go and at least get annual lab work done. Know your numbers. Know your blood sugar numbers, know your cholesterol numbers, your blood pressure. And also, there are certain screening tests for people, our age, that I feel like we should do, if at all possible. Okay, so what do we do if we go get our blood work and our numbers are not good? That's a real possibility, because with the way we've been eating, a lot of our lives, and the fact that we've gotten a lot less active, it's probably possible with our age that some of your blood work numbers aren't going to look good. Mine don't always look good. But if you can get in there, before they get too high, there are things you can do. You can stop doing some of the things that are contributing to those numbers. And then you can start doing some things that will help them. There's a ton of things that you can do with that knowledge. So I do agree that knowledge is power in that regard. But just try not to get caught up in this never-ending, calendar of appointments or, 10 prescriptions, every month. I mean, what do you do when the doctor wants to prescribe you something? Question everything. Ask them. Is there something I can do instead of getting on this drug? Can we try these things for 6 months or a year and look at the numbers then? Or, if they want to send you for all of these tests that you don't, know if they're necessary, ask them, is there another test that I can do that would possibly give me the same, results? A lot of MRIs that get prescribed for people could easily be an ultrasound instead. And an ultrasound is so much less expensive than an MRI. I mean, those are just some examples. But we have to talk to our doctors. And I know a lot of times we feel like they don't have the time to talk to us. But even if it means you come home with what they've given you and you get on Google. And, I know that sounds kind of scary because you can get down these rabbit holes, but just, there's some good places you can go. See if some of these tests are necessary or these prescription drugs. Look at all the side effects of them. I get really passionate about this because I know that my grandmother, before she died, she was on 13 different prescriptions. And 6 of them were to counteract the other 6 or 7 that she was taking, to counteract some of the side effects. It's a tough time that we're living in. And another thing is, don't try to get an antibiotic every time you get a sore throat or every time you get sick. I'm still kind of surprised that there are still doctors out there that will prescribe antibiotics over the phone without even having you come in. I mean, not only do overprescribing antibiotics cause the bacteria out there to become super bacteria that becomes resistant to the antibiotics, but it also, messes up our digestive system every time we're on those antibiotics. We don't want our immune systems to get too lazy. Okay, the next thing, and this one, oh man, this one is so pervasive in our society. It's stop making everything a monthly subscription. I mean, what doesn't have a monthly subscription attached to it now? Music, movies, TV, grocery delivery, cloud storage, phone apps, fitness, car washes. Okay, this might sound a little provocative, but I challenge you to kill all the music, movie, and TV subscriptions and just get YouTube Premium. And no, YouTube is not paying me to say that. I really wish they were. But seriously, you can get all the music just about that you want off of YouTube. That's included in the package. They've got movies. They've got documentaries. They've got fitness of every, workout that you can imagine. I mean, you're watching YouTube right now. There are plenty of things on there to keep you entertained for 5 lifetimes. And who needs grocery delivery or meal delivery? Now, if you're housebound, if you're ill, if you're elderly, maybe there are some unique situations where you might need grocery delivery or meal delivery, but go get it yourself. I mean, we're already sitting on the couch way too much. Get up, get in the car, and go sit in the car some more and go pick up your groceries curbside or go through the drive-thru. It's really not a whole lot of effort that we have to do both. You can even put them together, in one trip. And if you'll limit yourself to 1 car wash per month, then you'll come out cheaper than those, monthly car wash plans. And, 1 car wash a month with the free vacuums, that's enough, and if it gets dirty in between then that's not a crime. Just pay for things when you need it, not a monthly subscription. Okay, this next one, we're really going to stick it to those money-grubbing corporate giants. Now, don't laugh at this one. Well, no, I take that back. Do laugh when Pantone makes their annual Color of the Year announcement, or Sherwin-Williams or Benjamin Moore or whatever company makes their Color of the Year announcement. I think that's the biggest laugh ever. Ha ha. Now, in case you didn't know, for 2024, Pantone's Color of the Year was Peach Fuzz. Now for 2025, it's Mocha Mousse, which really means that now you must hate the peach fuzz and throw it all out. Or maybe you could just leave it laying around and the peach fuzz will rot and turn into a nice shade of brown, which is close enough to Mocha Mousse anyway. And like picking some random shade of beige is some earth-shattering event. I mean, do they really think we're that stupid? I just had to be ridiculous on this one, so enough said. Okay, so those are just a few of the ways that I thought of on how we can resist the machine and break free from the system. Let me know in the comments your strategies for pushing back. Now, I hope you found this video interesting today. I know we can't resist everything, but just being aware of what's going on around us, that's half the battle. Now, if you want to watch another video that challenges conventional thinking, then watch this one I'll link right here. Do we really need $1 million to retire? Now, if you haven't already, I really hope that you'll subscribe to my channel. I post 2 videos every week on topics that are relevant to Gen Xers and any other generation that is curious enough to watch. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.